Do aliens visit us at their pleasure at any time, right here on Mother Earth? That's what Dr. Robert Wood believes. The good doctor also maintains that our government has known of these visits for quite a while now, and that they are keeping that information away from the public in a grand-scale conspiracy. Further, Dr. Wood alleges that the government has kept secret the fact that the military is in possession of crashed alien spacecraft and bodies of dead aliens. But how do we prove the existence of little green men and their vastly superior flying saucers? Dr. Wood says the proof is in the paperwork, leaked and uncovered by a network of underground government sources. Wood has brought documents with him today, documents on official government letterhead that support his claim that our elected officials have been keeping the aliens and UFOs all to themselves. Dr. Wood, you say that you're here today to prove that there are aliens all around us all the time. You say that we're not alone.
That's right, and I'm here to prove it.
You are among a highly regarded group of scientists. Your credentials include a PhD in physics, a degree in aeronautical engineering. This is serious stuff here.
Yeah.
Tell me, are aliens around us all the time? How?
Well, I think that there's, say, a half a dozen different alien races that have regularly been coming here.
What do they look like?
Simply stated, they look all the way from exactly Homo sapiens, all the way down to the little grays, and they even have some spider-like kinds.
Your specialty is to authenticate government documents that deal with these types of things.
Right.
Where did you get some of those documents? Because they were top secret from decades ago.
The first document I got came from one leak, came specifically through one person in Washington, D.C. in the form of undeveloped film. And so when he developed the film, it showed these top secret pages. And that was the Special Operations Manual called Extraterrestrial Entities and Technology Recovery and Disposal. Well, I mean,
Wow.
Exciting title,
I
right?
know. When you saw that, what did you think? I mean...
Well, it's the first case that we have of a clear procedure that's highly structured of telling the special agents in the field to go out and recover crashed flying saucers covertly, make sure that the surrounding people don't find out about it.
So this is a cover-up by whom?
The cover-up is run pretty much by the government, although there may be a time when the government contracted out the process, and so go to the head of the CIA and ask him if they know anything. It's possible that that guy will say no and be truthful.
So these are documents that say that there actually were recovered parts from crashed...
Yes, that's right.
Any bodies?
Well, some of the documents say there were bodies. Now, whether we recovered any live ones is a little less clear, but that I've recently obtained documents that say that we have kept them alive for a while.
Wow. Why wouldn't Earth want to know that we have documented these aliens?
Well, Rolonda, if you go back to the beginning of the first crash, it was 1941, and you have to put yourself in the mindset of 1941, when we were just about to be at war with the Nazis.
That's right.
And we would not have wanted them to know that we had captured an alien craft which might have some high technology. In 1947, when we recovered these craft in New Mexico, in the same famous Roswell case, we were again about to be in a Cold War with the Russians. Mm-hmm. And so our government, I think, wisely decided to try to keep this technology away from the other guys.
Does it hurt us to keep all of this top secret?
I think it's very important still for us to not let everybody know about all the technology.
For security, for the United States.
Yeah. I do believe it's important, however, we do that according to our Constitution. The other thought is we have been visited by these races, and so forth. That in itself is not necessarily something you need to keep from the public.
I know.
Because if they were to tell the public, they'd all of a sudden have 10 times as many scientists working on good stuff.
Absolutely.
And we would have a better world.
There is a group called the Majestic 12. Talk a bit about that group and the importance that they hold in this.
Well, the Majestic 12 program was set up by Harry Truman in 1947, and that group was originally a group of 12 people, about 4 scientists and 4 military guys and 4 people who were involved in security. And so they took the best we had in the country in 1947 and put them in charge of the program. The focus, I think, was at that time to find out where they came from, how do they work, and to begin to think about extracting the technology for our military use.
What are you learning about how we're dealing with the whole UFO phenomena?
Now that I've seen more and more examples, I'm satisfied that it would be a really interesting project to explore one at a time these so-called breakthroughs in science, say since 1960, and see whether they are traceable to some UFO technology.
Really?
Yeah, because, well, one example in one of the documents we got in 1947 talks about a description of an integrated circuit. Well, integrated circuits didn't exist in 47, but they did 10 years later. If the alien technology worked the way it seemed to work, they have energy from unknown sources. They have propulsion capabilities to get from here to there that we don't understand.
What do they say they look like? How do you describe the features that you found in this document?
EBE Type 1 was described to be, less than 100 pounds, but in the 80 to 90 range. And generally humanoid appearance, but the other one, EBE Type 2, is like a typical gray with big wraparound eyes and very small nose and hardly any lips. So those are the two descriptions that exist.
Even a scientist can get stumped.
Yep, that's right.
How do you know all of this is true?
I study the documents. In other words, if they're fake, they were faked by the very best in a whole army of fakers.
When you present these documents to official types, how do they respond?
I was very careful to avoid bringing up the subject at all. And I've never used any of that information in any way. That is, that part of my background has never flopped over into this part of my background.
So why tell it today?
Well, I think that the public has a right to know some of the stuff. And I think the world would be a better place if we were to learn how the craft work and get the source of energy that they use.
So are you ready to face the lie detector?
I'm ready to face the lie detector whenever you're ready.
You gather fact, we gather truth.
I hope so.
Well, let's get you hooked up and see what we find.
Okay.
Be advised, Doctor, any attempt at countermeasures will invalidate this test. I'm going to balance you into the instrument. While I'm doing that, just remain still and look straight ahead, please. Remain still. The test is about to begin. Are you now sitting down?
Yes.
We always start with a neutral question.
Do you plan to tell the truth on this test about whether there's any reason for you to believe the Majestic Manual is not authentic?
Yes.
Are you convinced I won't ask you an unreviewed question?
Yes.
We allow time between questions to ensure that we record all of the reactions.
Is there any reason for you to believe the Majestic Manual is not authentic?
No.
This is a relevant question. It pertains to a specific fact, and the answer will be the leading indicator to determine whether the person is lying.
This test is over. Remain still for 10 seconds, please.
When we return, the lie detector has determined you. Find out the truth when we return to Lie Detector. Dr. Wood, you've come on Lie Detector to prove that the Majestic Manual is indeed real. We ask you the following relevant question. Is there any reason for you to believe that the Majestic Manual is not authentic? To which you answered no. The lie detector has determined you are telling the truth.
Good.
The truth.
That doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't?
No.
Not at all, because you've always known that. But let me ask you this. Does this by any chance start a whole new revolution, maybe, that maybe the government might come clean with this information?
I would like to encourage that to happen in an orderly way.
Do you think more people who believe as you do, or who know as you do, may come forward now?
I think maybe a few. And that would be important, because these are people who feel that some of the truth ought to be out, and they have documents that they could leak to the right people. And if they leak them to me, I'd be glad to try to authenticate them.
Do you believe that this result proves, in your opinion, that the government did cover up or is